Hey, this is John Lee Dumas, the founder and host of Entrepreneurs on Fire. And if you're wanting to learn how to embrace change and navigate through disruption as a leader, then listen to the Leadership is Changing podcast with my good friend, Denis. He's prepared to ignite.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis.
Hey, welcome to the show, Leadership is Changing. What we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Leaders everywhere confront similar obstacles because people are people, but everywhere you go, leaders are overwhelmed, disrupted, and under pressure. They run from email to email, meeting to meeting. Many leaders are not changing quick enough, which means they run the risk of becoming irrelevant and being left behind. Perhaps the show is taking our listeners' leadership to another level by finding their balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. I believe we don't have enough effective leaders in the world today, and if we can get the leaders to step up and lead change, then they can inspire real change. Hey listeners, it's now time to adapt in our fast-moving world. Welcome to the Ask Denis Freestyle episode, and great to have you with me again this week. The Freestyle episode is when I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts and insights and experiences from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey, if you haven't already checked out the Facebook group or the LinkedIn page, Leadership is Changing, love to see you there. But also, if you haven't already put a review or a rating on Apple Podcast, if you're getting great value from this podcast, we'd love you to put a review and a rating. And if you listen to this on Spotify, Spotify now has the ability to put a rating on the podcast. Please go ahead and do that. It's going to help the visibility of the podcast lift within the charts, and people will be able to recognize this podcast and go ahead and listen to it. So yeah, please go ahead and do that. We would love you to do that and help support the podcast. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about a topic which is around what is the difference between coaching and mentoring. I tend to get asked this question by a lot of people. They get confused. They're not sure what's going on. And in previous episodes, we've discussed what coaching is, or what is coaching, and how it can positively affect you and your business. Now, in this episode, I'm going to explain the differences between coaching and mentoring. Many people are under the impression that they are the same, but they differ quite a bit. And so here's my take on the difference between coaching and mentoring. Mentoring is when I'm a subject matter expert around a certain domain knowledge. I'll tell you what to do. I'll even teach you or tell you the skills that you need or show you what you need to do and take from there. But also I might introduce you to mentors, to my network actually, and introduce to people that I might know. In the coaching sense, coaching is asking you quality thinking questions to help you get insights. Now I'm going to challenge you on your thinking, but in a creative way or more of a constructive way. And I'm actually going to help you go from where you are in point A to where you want to go to in point B. Now, to be a great coach, you don't need to have mentoring skills. But to be a great mentor, you need to have the ability to coach. And so it's interesting to see what the difference is between the two of them. Because you see, when it comes to coaching and mentoring, as I said before, many are under the assumption that they are the same. But they couldn't be further from the truth. They are totally two different concepts that can be used to produce positive results. Now, to help you better understand what I'm talking about here, and how the two practices are different, I put together sort of like a small list of things, but giving you different understanding or perspectives from the coaching or mentoring around this topic. Now, if it's something that's around like task-oriented, you've got a task or some things that you want to get done as part of an action plan, and so then when it comes to that and focusing on some maybe concrete business issues, the coaching method is what should be used. Now, a coach can help you become a better manager, speak more articulately, or think in a strategic manner. Mentoring differs from this in that it's more of a relationship-oriented. When you're being mentored, you are learning the necessary skills needed to establish and build lasting relationships, as an example. So that's what I said before. It's about my network, about helping you build your network and relationships and helping you get certain tasks completed. That doesn't stop a coach helping you identify who should be in your network. That doesn't stop a coach helping you identify who are some mentors that can help you in certain topics. This next area I wanted to talk about was about long-term. And when it comes to the length of the process, mentoring is more of a long-term type of scenario. In the order of the process to be successful, though, it requires a lengthy amount of time, whereas coaching can achieve the desired goal in a shorter period of time. Now, coaching usually lasts only as long as it takes for a specific goal to be reached. Now, don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that coaching is a 5-minute thing. A coaching approach or a coaching conversation may be in a work environment. But if you're going to hire a coach around certain things that you want to get done, don't expect it to be done in 5 minutes, and don't expect the coach to only do 1 or 2 sessions. It doesn't work that way. If you're going to get a coach and someone's going to help you, I'm talking about 12 months. Mentoring could be several years, but I'm talking about a coach at least for 12 months, at the very minimum 6 months. But if you want a coach, invest for the 12 months because you'll get the actual momentum happening and you'll start to see major differences in what you can do and where you're wanting to go. Now, the third area I want to talk about is around performance-driven. When it comes to performance, coaching is the best option there. The primary purpose of coaching is really to help someone improve their performance skills. And once that goal has been achieved, then the process is complete. But once again, it's not going to be within 5 minutes. Now, mentoring tends to be more developmentally driven with the primary purpose of developing an individual for the long term. Now, sometimes as a leader within an organization, you might be wearing certain baseball caps, as I call them. So if you think about a baseball cap, on the front of it could have the embroidered coach. On another one says mentor. On another one says leader. On another one says trainer. And within one discussion that you're having with somebody, whether you're a leader in an organization, you could have leader, then coach, mentor, trainer, and interchanging those caps depending on the conversation you're having. Another one is around design, and this is what I've just been talking about. But the process of coaching can be accomplished in a shorter period of time on virtually any topic you want. However, when it comes to mentoring, that process is a little bit more complex and includes different aspects that could be focused on. Hence, what I said before, probably we're going to work with somebody who's a subject matter expert around that area. Now, participants, here's another area I want to talk about. During the process of coaching, the primary individuals involved are the coach and the one seeking guidance or coaching. In mentoring, there can be more people involved in the process. It can include the primary individual and the mentor and another individual interested in the outcome of the process. So they're the different types of different sort of explanations or scenarios that I've given you. Now, I hope these explanations help you differentiate between the two different processes. Why they are sort of similar in some areas, they're both very different in many areas as well. Now, coaching and mentoring, which one should you go for? Well, it really depends on the scenario that you're working on. It really depends on what you're wanting to achieve. Now, the thing for me is I think that coaching is going to be really important because I'm going to be able to take you as a coach and get you to be the person you're needing to be because you're wanting to be, and then you identify in different areas of goals and different areas that you want to work on. Now, with the mentoring, I may not be the subject matter expert, but I tell you what, I know how to ask questions as a coach. I know how to take you from A to B, whatever A is and whatever B is. Can be anything, but I know how to challenge you. I know how to support you. I know how to hold you accountable to what you're saying. Now, look, for some of you, you're still not probably sure on what you should do. There's been the explanation I've given you today in this episode. Now, if you're wanting to understand what is the best option for you, then I want you to feel free to reach out to me if you need any assistance in understanding whether you need a coach or a mentor or both. Now, feel free to do that. Feel free to reach out to me and have a chat, because I'd love to talk to you about that, because I think it's really important for you to understand what you as an individual need. Because it doesn't matter what the coach wants, it doesn't matter what the mentor wants. It's what you need going forward that's going to be very important. And so I think selecting the right person for you is key. But first, we've got to get very clear and clarify what is it actually that you're wanting to achieve? What kind of results, what kind of outcome do you want? And then we'll understand what is the right pathway for you to follow. Hey listeners, what we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Change is incredibly scary, especially with the unknown and unfamiliar territory. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing. Look out for the episodes as they're being released. Download them, have a listen, put a review and a rating. Feel free to share them with your friends, your family, and your network. Hey, if there's any feedback you'd like to give me about the show, or if there's a question you have for the Ask Dennis Freestyle episode, then send me an email, dennis@leadingchangepartners.com. Hey, listeners, it's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.